Abreva cream has been the cold sore standard for 26 years. That's when it first came out. And most people have no idea of what it actually does. And there's a newer treatment called photobiomodulation, which is just red light therapy. I'm sure you've heard of it by now. And once you see what each one actually does to your healing time, you'll know exactly what to reach for the next time you feel that dreaded tingle on your lip. So I'm going to put the clinical data side by side to show you how much time each one actually takes off of the healing time for an outbreak and why one of them barely moves the needle. And how do you even know any of this information is real? Everyone on YouTube and Instagram, they're getting paid to hold something up and say, this changed my life. Everyone's motivated. So what I'm going to show you, these numbers from these clinical trials, these are controlled studies with doctors where half the patients get the real treatment and half the patients get a fake treatment. Not even the doctor knows, and nobody knows which, because that's the only way that you can be sure that the results are real and not for sale by some influencer. In one clinical trial, over 700 patients used Abreva, and it showed that it shortened their healing time by about 18 hours. Now, that's not 18 hours to heal, that's 18 hours less than if they did absolutely nothing. So you're sitting there applying cream 5 times a day to save yourself less than a single day. It's basically something you can do to make yourself feel like you're doing something good. You're proactive about healing, but doesn't have a huge impact. Most people think the next step up from Abreva is a prescription antiviral. It's basically a drug that helps fight viruses, but you need a doctor to write a prescription and you get it at the pharmacy. Valcyclovir, it's often known as Valtrax, is one that they prescribe. And it works better. It takes about a day off of an outbreak, but that's a pill that you're putting in your body with quite a few bad side effects. The worst of them can include kidney damage. And you're basically signing up to take it every time you feel a tingle for the rest of your life. So really, your choice is a cream that works a little bit, a pill that you have to keep taking forever, or a third option, a device that sits in your drawer with nothing ever entering your body. In a placebo-controlled study, the group that got light therapy, red light therapy, they healed in 6.3 days, where the placebo group took 9.4. That's a full third of the time off. And another study showed that it cut healing time by 4 full days. Compare that to Abreva's 18 hours. And when you can catch it at the tingle stage, before anything even shows up on your lip, some people never get a full cold sore outbreak or a blister at all. It actually is able to sometimes stall the outbreak before it gets into the skin. And the way it works is actually the red light therapy is giving your cells cellular energy. It's a little too nerdy for this conversation, but that's the actual mechanism of action. But here's where people get burned. They hear red light therapy, they look at the clinical data, they see that it works, and then they go on Amazon and they buy whatever has good reviews and a red light LED on it. They use it and nothing happens. That's because most of those devices aren't delivering anywhere near the energy that is used in these studies that show that it works. They glow red, they look medical, they have a name, sometimes it's a Chinese name, sometimes it's a legitimate looking name, but it's below, far below the treatment threshold for clinical efficacy. It's basically just like a red flashlight. 2 devices can look identical on the listing, but do completely different thing. One hits the specs in the research, and the other is basically a toy. That's why the Luminance Red is one of the rare devices that actually went through the FDA. Have you ever heard of 510K? It basically means the FDA thoroughly reviews the device. They look at the evidence. They look at the safety, very important to prove that it's safe. And they look at the data itself of the device efficacy before approving it, before signing off. Every single unit is tested to hit the power level used in the clinical studies before it ships. Now that you know where Abreva actually stands and what red light therapy looks like, if you're interested, then you need to figure out whether the device you're looking at can actually heal you. Can it deliver the power that it says? So in the next video, I'll show you how you can tell whether a red light therapy device is built to actually and effectively treat a cold sore, or if it's just a fancy red flashlight with a marketing name wrapped around it.